Fnatic demolished G2 by leaving C butt naked every single round. In this elimination match of Champs 2024, these EMEA superstars showcased their balls of steel by not having anyone play on this 1/3 of the map. And by God, it worked. But how? G2 are one of the most disciplined and fundamentally sound teams on the planet. Is C broken? Do we need to remove Haven already? Surely they don't lose to such a stupid strat. Right? Well, in this video, you're going to learn why retaking C is sometimes the smartest thing to do, and how it humiliated G2. Now, it's not like G2's PCs were lagging or something. A strategy like Fnatic's actually makes a ton of sense. If they were lagging, then they'd want to use ExitLag, the world's best network optimization solution. ExitLag offers a wide range of online service solutions from AI route optimization, a dynamic stabilizer, diagnostic center, and just look at all the games that they support. Just head to their website, create an account, download ExitLag in just a minute, and install. It's so easy that a Reyna main can do it. But once you're done, select almost any game you can imagine, select your ideal routing, apply, and the results speak for themselves. Now, on top of all that, ExitLag also features new multiplayer plans, a duos one for you and your friend, or significant other, or even a squad plan for up to 5 people. You all get to fix your lag issues. And not to mention, they're also pretty cheap. Isn't good internet connection worth it to you? So if you and your friends want better internet in just a few clicks, or just want to support me, check out my link in the description for a 3-day free trial of the world's best optimization tool. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Alrighty boys, this is an elimination match. We need to win, otherwise our season is over. So, does anyone have anything? Anyone? Don't worry, I have a diabolical plan that'll win us this game. One that'll shock the world and strike fear into these dumb Americans. Behold, retake C. But why, Teets? Look at G2's comp. If it takes the site, Fnatic are gonna lose. How are you supposed to retake against a Viper? She has so much stall! Wow, Timmy, that was actually a good question. The answer to that is in what you just said. If it takes site. Take a look at each of G2's agents and tell me, how are they going to take C? Yoru can't really make space that well. If he wants to teleport in, he has to into these cubbies. And without committing your recon to this front half of site, you don't know if it's clear. Even if you do that, then there's backside you have to worry about. How are they going to flush that out? Sure, a well-placed snakebite can fill back plat, but what about everything else? God darts get shot in pro play, especially when nothing is following it up. I mean, Omen's paranoia is really strong, but again, there's no one here to follow up off it that well. Now compare this execute to one you would see with your standard breach comp, and you'll notice that G2's is a lot slower and weaker. So Fnatic are simply playing to G2's weakness. Until the offense can prove to the defense that they can go C, it's going to be left empty. And that starts now. Fnatic are set up in a 0-3-2, ready to snuff out any question marks G2 might create with their Viper. She makes holding a nightmare as she can constantly flip her wall up and down, blocking the defense's line of vision, and threaten that an attacker could sneak through. And B isn't much easier. To counter these lurk smokes, you need to either fight through them, commit more players, or gather reconnaissance through them. But G2 aren't doing that. They know that their comp sucks at going C, so on round 1, they want to pressure on this side of the map to hopefully make the rest weaker. Doing something like this so early in the game will set the precedent that they will go C, at least you would think. The offense opened the round by lobbing their poison to up front B, turreting the window, and instantly securing mid. But on C, Sova's darted front sight and Valen smoked garage. Remember what I said, if G2 were to hit C, this is what it would look like. Valen even walks into sight and smashes Hero Spy Cam. This forces out a dark cover from Boaster, but not much else. I doubt they actually take C. Fnatic are calling G2's bluff. They aren't convinced that this comp is actually committing to the site. That's how bad they are at it. Especially because Hero only saw Omen swing out. And now Fnatic are so confident in this read that Hero drops to C-Link, and Boaster shifts to stack B with Durka, right where G2 are headed. Jonah P has moved up mid behind this turret, and his teammates are moving his way. But since there is so much ground lost on C, Durka needs to get some information. Gate crash active, him and Boaster double peek mid, and break Killjoy's turret. With it gone, mid control is compromised. But that's not enough for Durka.
And it's just quiet across the board right now from G2. A very, very slow approach. They showed top C, broke the camera, but it didn't bait out any rotations from the side of Fnatic.
Dirk has given Valen the Donald Trump treatment, but that isn't stopping the offense. Jonah P pops his poison orb, acting as a shield for his team to walk up and go B.
To continue to go B, you've got Durka who's close by, you've got Boaster there with him.
Yeah. Members of Fnatic need to be careful.
I think
he could go.
I'm with you. They opened the wall, mate.
Flashing.
They're out. Pushing B.
Close on here.
Yeah. Spike planted.
Bishop, you get it. Right side.
Nice.
4v2. 4v2.
Hero, you hold garage.
Wait, script. I'm gonna pick.
That's it. Just wait, boys. Keep waiting.
It's called right.
Go push out now, boys. They have to reload.
3, 1, 2, 1.
Go.
Close up. Main.
Nice, boys. Nice.
G2 had zero chance at winning this round, and notice how 3 defenders were here to anchor down B. Fnatic banked on G2 not going C, there's a trip in garage, and we're here to flood in before G2 could get set up. Had they not, the attackers could sit back and spam the spike while this big-ass green orb decays any diffusers. So if G2 want to not get dumpstered on this half, they need to try going C. After a convincing pistol, Boaster let G2 know who's in charge.
They're not going to throw it this time around.
I was going to say something, but I didn't know what to say.
On the anti-eco, Fnatic successfully pulled off their signature buy, where 3 people buy rifles and 2 of them save. But in the heat of not checking our corners, the Vandal got dropped in sewer, and Hero was nowhere close to pick it up. There's a chance they lose this 2,900 credit rifle.
Honestly, Jonah P, it was a bit labored. It took a little bit of time, but ultimately does connect. It's a 3v3, but it doesn't feel like a solid one. It doesn't feel like a comfortable one. It just feels inevitable. Alpha gets his 3 as Fnatic at the second.
And that's something that I said G2 needed to be very...
Chronicle's masterclass in juggling has allowed his team to buy up and emulate another full buy, instead of a bonus. And then I guess it's time to change that title card. And there we go. On to their bonus, Fnatic set up in another 0-3-2 and want to punish this turret that teams love putting up to prevent them from gaining mid for free while they play for info on the wings. And now G2 want to apply major pressure with their lurk wall and head back to B to use their orb again. No C this round. Fnatic fight through the buy phase behind an undercut and shock dart, annihilating anyone hit by both. G2 are stalled, but have smoked long and recon short. But what's going on in mid?
See that cheeky little vulnerable shock setup. IC's been dropped. Leaf has 2.
Fnatic's damage combo isolated a duel for their ISO, but more importantly, because C was left open again, this allowed Hero to swing out of garage while Durka snapped Leaf's turret and Boaster held his window. Within just 10 seconds, G2 are down 2 players on their first full buy. So what do they do now? Well, the one advantage the offense do have is that their Viper smokes are still online. They are down 5-3, but with these, they can make it feel like there's players all across the map. So their next objective is to move up mid and use this poison orb that requires 2 players to watch it safely. And Boaster has been left by himself. Because of this early mid aggression, Fnatic expected G2 to react by pushing C. He smokes himself in and scurries to backside. But he could get walked in on.
Utility in mid as well. The 1-2 punch, the Yoru walking down. They swing out. Boaster is going to have a tough ask in the backside here. He is alone, but they don't know he's here.
Meanwhile, Fnatic is getting a ton of info. You've got Durka who's pushed down C long. You had the drone come out from Chronicle towards A, and they've got him fully funneled into the middle of the map, and they know that. The paranoia is going to be a little bit wide, but Valorant shots do connect.
G2's poison orb has opened up the site, but it's not like Fnatic weren't aware. Hero picked up his C-trip and was coming over to lay it out for Boaster, but he was just too late. Now, because of all this commotion on B, Durka wandered deeper down long to take the free space. But G2 know that this is possible. After taking down the C anchor, they've mushed through Link and have planted for spawn. But this setup is awkward. Viper's moved into garage for extra breathing room, but that's not enough. Fnatic could be coming from anywhere. They need to clear out more of the map.
That's why they're planning for CT right now. And this drone, it's going to get good info on where Alpha Year is.
Again, Durka is the problem, and the problem has not been solved.
Nasty work from Durka. What a transfer.
That's a scary sight for G2 fans. If he's hitting like that already.
Oh, he commits to the TP backside.
Jonah P fully surrounded in a 1v3. No idea where Durka was. Fully left guessing.
On G2's eco, they got spanked again for not pressuring C at all. Fnatic were set up in another 0-3-2 where Yoru and Omen were in another mid-cross, but this time, Boaster had his paranoia locked and loaded to blind anyone brave enough to break this trip.
Well, they've managed to get him in there now. The middle of the map has been taken. The paranoia is out towards Garage.
After this first blood, the Sheriffs couldn't put up much of a fight, and G2 were forced to take an early timeout to stop the snowballing. Coach, we're getting destroyed in mid, but I have an idea. What if we leave it alone and just run it up C? Then it'll force Fnatic to stay spread out across the map. What did you just say? That might be the worst idea I've ever heard. Our comp can't go C. Didn't you just hear Teets in the intro? What? Just pressure A instead, then go back to mid. Idiot. Go C. Yeah, okay. What a moron. Coming out of the timeout, both teams have new objectives. In G2's mind, someone on Fnatic must be getting set up on one of these two lines and are allowing the rest of their team to stack the rest of the map. That's why they're running into so much mid-aggression. But that's not it. Fnatic are calling G2 out and still think that they cannot go C, leaving it empty and stacking A and B. Pause real quick. Before I clown on G2 anymore for not going C, the reason why they aren't is a bit more complex than just their comp sucks at it. Yeah, it's not their strength, but the reason why we've seen so much mid-pressure throughout the beginning of this game is because G2 are trying to bait Fnatic into using their Cypher utility to reinforce these other sites and get it all off of C. Once it is, then sure, yeah, they can go C. But if they try to run into Cypher setup on this site, G2 will lose. It just doesn't have enough firepower like the Breach comps on this map. So that's their game plan. Pressure A and B, move Fnatic Cypher shit, then go C. But Fnatic have been straight up abusing them in mid. Cypher isn't moving anything. Now, like I said, G2 think that they haven't been pressuring A enough despite never touching C, and this is confirmed by their early 4-1 default. But Alfa finally has his first kill contract. His goal is to grab Killjoy while she tries to secure mid. Doing so would create a huge hole in G2's map control. No turret means no mid. No mid means Fnatic can flank and actually retake on a comp that's meant to stall in the post plant. So yeah, while someone is on C, it's a contest mid. Again, no one's really playing on this site. The barriers drop and both teams trade utility. Double recons, smoke for long, Omen teleports into this cubby, and Killjoy turret's window. But both teams don't really do anything. Boaster didn't hear this turret go up, so ISO rotates off, leaving C open again, and Durka and Valen get scanned multiple times. I mean, without a Jet or Neon to close the distance, there's not a ton to worry about, but Durka does need to reposition.
And the dart to buy some space, but again, you see the utility being exchanged from the defense.
And he's out of there. But this pressure has dragged over Alfa, one of Sova's best friends. This initiator synergizes extremely well with both of these duelists, not just ISO. The information that Sova gets allows these two to take more favorable fights, line up their utility better, and that's even reversed for Yoru. But here, Chronicle has released his Aldrone and is looking for a victim for Alpha to drag to the Gulag. Find the right agent, and that could completely change the outcome of the round. Did you grab Omen? Well, now your teammates can play Heaven. Yoru? Then you can just hold your smokes, and G2 really can't make space without flashes. So all of the offense tuck away and hide.
But he's not even here this time. He's waiting for a 1v1 opportunity. He has that ISO ultimate online.
That was so dangerous.
Chronicle doesn't spot a soul, so the Predator backs away to find his prey, but G2's game plan starts to become a bit more clear. With this turret holding mid, the offense have sent Sova back to Killjoy and is going to drone through Garage, which should drag attention away from A. So Trent makes his way over, Valen smokes Garage, and their drone goes out. Oh, ISO! Dinner's ready!
Pop that shield, he's gonna ult. So if G2 take too long, here it comes. Here's the 1v1.
Alpha and Leaf on the other side. He's got full health, he's got full armor. But how do you deal with the double tap?
It's too hard, not at this high of a level.
Gunfights in Valorant normally should be 50-50, but with ISO shield, and it should be a guaranteed win at the professional level. After Killjoy's dropped, G2 have lost so much ground that A is the only realistic play.
Most of the time, the ISO will win that exchange.
On the other... Oh, it seems like they're going to try to get out onto the side. Not going to lie to you guys, didn't really see what happened there, but lo and behold, they've managed to get decently far out. You've got the paranoia coming out, the decay as well.
30 seconds
But it's Durka's in such a good spot, but Jonah P just decapitates him. Boaster able to respond at least a little bit. Now a 2v2 as the spike goes down. It's leaving Trent on his own. He's got 2 shots, but position's been given away. Knife out. Shots not settled. And again, Trent has to go. No armor. That's not the right weapon in that position.
Boaster saved this round for Fnatic. The thing about this Viper comp that Timmy mentioned earlier in this video is that you cannot let it onto site. It just has a ton of stall to delay your retake. But Boaster recognized that Viper's orb is just big enough to provide him cover to teleport onto this box, and when it drops, he can spot over Omen's dark cover. Now, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but Durka swung into the smoke, Boaster teleported up, and Alfa came out of spawn and swung with his Omen at the perfect time. Hero topped off the retake by peeking Heaven, and G2 couldn't buy enough time for Trent to get his flank off. With Icy's Dimensional Drift online, and basically any other ult they want, G2 should be able to finally get on the board. And they have a big, complicated fake in store for Fnatic. Yoru is transforming into Mr. Worldwide and is generating pressure first on A, then mid, and finally on C. Now, Fnatic still don't think G2 are going C. All their Scythe utility isn't even over there anymore. But with their Hunter's Fury active and shiny new toy, Chronicle is setting up to do 2 things. 1, he's posting up on long with his Odin and is going to spray through this wall and Toxic Screen. In most rounds so far, him and ISO have combined their Undercut and Shock Dart into lobby, pinning the offense back, so an Odin should do the same on its own. But if the offense do run it up A, Chronicle should be able to drop back and play retake with these trips and cam. 2, Durka, Alpha, and Hero are going to push up mid and into window. If they take contact, they fight. But more importantly, Chronicle is lined up perfectly to fry anyone in this window. And now, before the round starts, Icy sends his first gate crash for outside garage, a surprise tool he'll use later. The barrier falls, Leaf turret's window, it gets shot, Jonah P raises his wall, and Chronicle darts lobby. The offense doesn't move, but Fnatic inch down mid. Once the dart expires, the offense drop their wall, and Icy hops into his Dimensional Drift. He peeks on long, short, sewer, every possible cubby, and spots Sova. But he's vanished. Icy's redirected towards garage. He sends his second gate crash back to spawn and makes his way to C behind a smoke from Valen. In the meantime, Trent has been waiting patiently outside long for the signal to activate his Aldrone.
Going C.
There it is. To any other defense, this looks and sounds like a C split. Did you guys feel something? Nah. But Fnatic still aren't phased. In the meantime, Chronicle has been traded. The whole purpose behind all this jumping back and forth from Icy was that he was trying to get his team up short safely, called out where Chronicle was, but quickly head back to fake a C-split. Because if the offense were to hit this site, it would be with this ult. But since Fnatic were so proactive in mid, it didn't do much besides expose Durka's push and force him to teleport. He was headed back to form another crossfire with his teammates, but as soon as their A anchor went down, the entire defense ran over to flood out on A. G2 have their Viper's Pit online, and if given enough time to set up, they'll shut the defense out of the round. But the offense stuffed the flood with a Nano and Snakebite. Fnatic immediately pivots to Heaven, Jordan P rips his pit, but Boaster's continued his push this entire time. He gets chipped down and immediately regrets his decision. But it's genius. By staying alive, Icy and Trent are going to be looking for this guy, while only 2 players have to hold this giant fart bubble and contest a full Heaven retake.
Trent is so far away, just now going to get in range to use that Hunter's Fury if need be.
So they have full A main control, but the pit is down, and that's going to make this so much more difficult. Leaf's going to fall too. A 2v4 that needs to go the way of G2 for any semblance of hope, and it does not look like that will be the case. What in the world can Trent do? Outnumbered and dead. 6-0 the way of Fnatic.
Each member of Fnatic played their part in this retake to perfection. Because Durka and Alpha took the leap of faith, they created a theoretical triple pinch on the Viper ult. Jonah P doesn't want to push any deeper. He wants to face the enemy when they've been decayed enough. So he couldn't go out that way, but Durka and ISO were behind him. And Leaf couldn't watch his heaven after getting hit by Cypher's retake cam and undercut from ISO. But where was their help? Well, they were trying to kill Boaster, who was ratting around in window. But the only reason why he's here is because they have the luxury of never really having to play C. G2 are getting steamrolled, even when they manage to get off their #1 win condition, getting Viper on site. They need to pressure C. G2's worst nightmare has become a reality.
Green, he's shooting whatever's in front of him.
I'm feeling today.
Not only is one of the best players in the world on a heater, not having died once, but G2 are also on an eco, and it looks like Fnatic are about to get their 7th straight uncontested round. But wait, Yoru, you're playing C? Dude, you're going to ruin the title of the video. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense. On ecos, teams don't have that great odds of winning, so farming orbs isn't that bad of an idea. Durka's just contesting it. But it looks like Alfa and Boaster are contesting mid as well, with their ISO ult, without their Yoru, on G2's eco? So many questions, let's get some answers. The round begins with a bulk of the offense creating a ton of pressure on A big green wall, teleport, recon for both teams, and while they pressure A, Alpha's kidnapping the killjoy he wanted last round.
In his own right, and Leaf.
It's
Oh
Leaf
my
again.
gosh.
He's got a Bulldog, light armor. Alpha here again trying to pest him out, but this time the duel goes the way of G2.
On their save round? Why? G2's worst nightmare might have been what saved them this game.
I'm feeling today.
Boaster tried taking the mid space once the turret was deactivated, which led to Fnatic overextending against the eco. It seems like they forgot about what's gotten them this far. Now, because the defense have lost 1/3 of the map in about 10 seconds, Durka decides to make up for it by taking space down C, and these two are unfazed as to what's just occurred. I mean, what are they going to do? Go re-clear mid? This gap is just way too big. When down this bad, you gotta do what my dad did with my college fund and gamble. Let the guy with the across-map teleporter get the info, and you two pray the offense come A, which they are. Valorant set up in short, his teammates are slowly moving through long, and Durka hasn't spotted anyone. But Fnatic's questions are answered as soon as Leaf plops down his ult. Now, if Chronicle can make some form of hero play, he'll attract a bulk of the attention, allowing Durka to backstab the attackers and win the round.
Going hunting, he might find the timing.
He's exploring, Valen's there on the other side. He's got to spot him, and he does. The Stinger up close nets him another win. A 5v2, but again, remember, it's lighter weaponry. It's not great. It's a Bulldog and an Odin. Patience out from Hero. A 2v4 would be devastating. It would be backbreaking.
If I had a nickel for every time someone on Fnatic didn't clear this corner, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Fnatic tried to do something, but after the op got spotted, the defense decided to say, hey, Hero, what are you doing?
Durka's gonna save this operator, surely.
I mean, he's got plenty of money.
Wait a second.
The newcomer.
Durka's doubling back.
For this Fnatic roster. He's continued to knock on the door. He's continued to unlock the bolts, and he might be able to swing this back in their favor, but heads up awareness from Trent.
Okay, now that we threw away our kill contract, and likely a 7-0 lead, Fnatic have a new setup revolving around their Hunter's Fury. Omen and Yoru are slotted in on A to blind and contest pushes, while ISO and Sova are on B, but are fighting for A lobby. By combining ISO's undercut with Sova's laser, this thing becomes a one-shot kill. Then, once this third of the map is secure, they'll leave Yoru here with his op and stack elsewhere. And now G2 want to pressure A, but that ain't happening. As soon as the barriers fall, the defense rip their paranoia, undercut, and Chronicle gets busy.
What a combo! Can you imagine if they were trying to take A main there?
Yeah, they would have gotten decimated.
Now, it's hard to tell from our limited resources, but Fnatic just didn't rip all this utility because they felt like it. If you look closely, Valen faked his teleport after smoking long. This vision denial and audio cue meant that the offense were probably in here somewhere, and if not, at least they gained a ton of map control off this huge investment. Valen got hit by the second blast, but dodged the third. But this aggressive play has spurred a reaction from the offense. There's at least 3 on A, C has to be weaker. Now their comp sucks at hitting that site, but with probably 4 people on A, it shouldn't matter. So the bulk of G2 group up outside of Garage, Sova starts his drone down C, and the first ever G2 C execute begins.
Yoru clone is so good against the Cypher. Breaks all the trips in Alpha. He's going crazy right now. It's 1-for-1 though.
Leaf again.
If I had a nickel for every time Alfa overextended this game, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's enough to throw a game. Why is he going for that peek when he still hasn't used his shield? And Durka has his dimensional drift for the retake. I get it, he was trying to swing off the contact of the spy cam, but this trade heavily favors G2, giving them Garage. Trent and Jonah P stall the flood with the Snakebite and Hunter's Fury, and Durka hops into his ult. This forces Leaf out of Garage, and by the looks of things, Fnatic are primed for a solid retake coming from 3 different lanes. Against this Viper comp, you have to. 2 just isn't enough.
Info as he can. Meanwhile, Boaster's trying to do a bit of the same, but Trent anchored in. We'll clean him up.
Okay, well, now it's going to be a lot harder. Actually, incredibly harder. With that flank kill, Leaf and Jonah P have decided to double wrap Garage. How are Fnatic clearing all of this?
Thanks for bomb, okay? They have no... I'm getting spam back. Hit 65, could be on.
You're flash smoking now.
Could be on.
Close.
Off.
Off. I got first.
Hit 65.
I got first.
Nice! Let's go, boys. Let's go.
After 2 convincing round wins, G2 are starting to feel like Fnatic are getting sloppy.
Alpha just jumps out the window smoke.
But this round, Alfa has cooled off, and Fnatic are back to their bread and butter. They're leaving C wide open again in their 0-3-2. Mid has been a problem almost each and every round for G2. Fnatic have pushed down to punish Killjoy, try to ISO ult her, or have just walked down into window straight up. But Durka's noticed that this turret goes up kind of late. He thinks he might have a timing. Now G2 want to apply pressure on A again. They still think that by doing this, it will drag rotates over from the rest of the map. But C's been empty the entire game. There's nothing to drag.
You're going to need to be more aware of the crazy plays that can happen against this basically double duelist comp of ISO and Yoru. I mean, that's another free pick, but I think that'll spam this time around. And the 1-2-3 punch.
How did we get from this to this in just 10 seconds? Well, C's butt naked, which gives Fnatic a lot more freedom across the map. On A, ISO and Sova comboed another undercut and shock dart to create space. Icy tried flashing through the wall, but Alpha snapped his own neck to dodge it and put him down. Then in mid, Durka noticed that this on-the-ground turret, while secures most of mid, it doesn't get behind this box. For some reason. I think it's too low. So like we've seen before, Boaster held window, Durka waited for someone to think mid was safe, he took contact for Hero to swing. Man, Haven becomes much easier to defend when there's only 2 sites. Huh. But after getting the first blood, Sova and ISO head to short next, as someone could have walked down behind this wall.
Free punch.
They're investing so much into denying this A main control from G2.
A main mid.
I mean, every single round.
It's nice that Valorant got the trade, but how on earth do you come back? Fnatic's next step is to use Hero's Neural Theft to close out the round. He drops from window, throws his hat, and it allows a bulk of the defense to flank the remaining attackers, while Chronicle keeps them occupied with a drone and then shock dart. There's no way G2 convert this.
Not shock.
Yeah.
Just a little short.
This is just such a hard post plant to play. There's 3 members flanking long. And still an Omen paranoia for Boaster. It gets committed. Hero just absolutely decimates Valen. And deleted from the server.
And Trent's left in a 1v4. That first shock will go out. The spam coming through will clean up 2. But there's still so much work to be done. Note Boaster did not get it to half. Now finally done so. The classic.
Want to know what's better than 3 defenders fighting mid? 4. Fnatic still want to continually punish this mid turret as it's been pretty free all game. But G2 aren't just walking into this trap again, they want to bait Fnatic with this turret. Their plan is for Killjoy to place this turret in mid, wait for Fnatic to walk down and shoot it, which then Icy is going to bounce a blindside off window, swing, and punish. But isn't this the same turret that Durka just dodged? The round starts off real quiet, with 3 defenders holding window for Durka. If the turret were to show up here, Killjoy is going to get turned into Swiss cheese. But she's not. Instead, she's placed the same exact turret as last round?
With more members, that turret does not clear this box. Leaf, oh my goodness!
He's punished again. First it was Alfa, now it's Durka.
With the first blood secured, the entirety of Fnatic make out like bandits in the night. But with the only agent in the game who can play up like this gone, G2 feel more comfortable applying pressure around the map. Viper's wandered into garage, is waiting for someone to come check, while on A, she's flipped up her toxic screen for Trent's drone to create extra pressure, and Valen has moved up C long. With all three things happening at once, it looks like G2's backup plan is to apply pressure on A so that a C split can get off without a hitch. But Fnatic are expecting a C hit. After 10 straight rounds of abusing G2 in mid and leaving C open, they know that these guys are eventually going to head this way, especially after seeing so many in mid. So as the offense regroups, there's two defenders waiting backside.
Anything, you cannot take control of mid. You need to start doing a different turret, maybe through window. But the problem is Fnatic were ready for that adaptation. They had 3 players front B ready to spam window.
Every single corner seems to be considered for Fnatic.
Can you open your cage? Open your
I'm
cage.
rotating over. I have a flash.
Done.
Garage one. Garage last CT. Oh, garage.
Okay, we're behind garage, boys.
Can't see link, boys.
Well, like I said, the dart got snapped, Icy died because he took his gate crash, and I don't know where his flash went, and the Paranoia missed logs by like a hair, I guess, and a Trent couldn't clear out backside. Man, this comp really does suck at hitting C. Now Jonah P, who went window to catch rotators, is left in a 4 versus 1. But hey, 2 of them have low HP, it's winnable.
CT last. 1 HP, 1 HP, 1 HP.
We're behind.
105.
Пойдем просто.
Да.
А, у нас спайк.
Crouch and hold it.
Да нет, дай ему план,
30
спрячь
seconds
просто.
left.
Потом пойдем.
Hold window, Crowd. I'm holding it. It's 105, bro. 1
И
HP.
потом с флешкой я просто выйду. Я флешу направо, влево.
Die!
The Killjoy and Timmy have to be tired of getting spanked. There is a better and safer way to take mid if you're G2, involving their toxic screen. About a year ago, I broke down this Viper wall used by FPX. It cuts mid in half so that you can move up from hay bale, drop it, and clear what's behind it. From here, you can move up mid and even create some pressure on B since you're smoking C link. And with the second controller, you can still create the same amount of question marks on A. While weaker, it still works. Then Durka might not be confident in pushing this far down, and it would totally throw off Fnatic's protocols. But when you're playing Valorant in front of millions of people, it's hard to make adjustments that G2 might have never had to make before, on the fly. Anywho, this round, G2's plan is to apply pressure A with their wall, and then head back into mid, where Leaf must be betting on Durka not punishing this turret a 3rd time in a row. Which he'd be right. Because Alfa has another kill contract active, and Fnatic plan on trapping lobby again. Anyone contesting the space is getting sent to the Shadow Realm. And even if Alpha loses, his team can clean up the mess. The round starts with both teams exchanging smokes and recons, which triggers ISO's ult.
G2 struggling.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This time it's Trent.
Oh, he's
just trying to take the fight right to him. But Alfir, 2 for 3 on the Gulag this map.
One agent takes 1 shot to kill, the other takes 2. In professional play, it's usually an automatic W. And now with Yoru following up this big rectangle, G2's fake pressure hasn't done a damn thing. Fnatic have instead committed to a jumbo crossfire on lobby if the offense decide to re-clear. And then these two are prepared to fight B, and not C, because G2 haven't gone there for 10 straight rounds. Speaking of, their backup plan is to find the equalizer in mid. Somehow. Before doing so, Omen smokes short to reapply pressure, Yoru sends out another gate crash, and the offense are waiting for Fnatic to peek out for info. But they're not. Each site has their own dedicated protocol. Retake, contest, fight. There's no need to gain more information. Boaster just refreshes the smoke, and G2 don't feel safe to push out. Even with their poison orb? Why not just flip it up a bit? Instead, Viper and Killjoy have ventured into garage to try and find something, but Fnatic have in turn pushed all the way through lobby. These two know the offense are headed their way.
How far back the trips are from Hero.
Leaf's gonna get tagged. The Hunter's Fury has been invested. Leaf is already dead.
What a setup.
No corner is safe. Balance left in a 1v3, and yeah, he has the spike, but again, it's these miserable 1vx situations.
Now, yeah, C was left open, so it was easier to contest garage, but something I haven't hit on is how proactive Fnatic are in flanking against this comp. All the time, someone is pushing out the weaker extremity to ensure that if G2 do take a site, they can't just stall out a retake. And here, the space Durka made gave Chronicle the green light to rip his Hunter's Fury through the map, destroying everyone in garage and front B, helping Durka take down his counterpart. Valen's left in a 1 versus 3, and the only area the defense haven't kept an eye on is B.
From Fnatic. What a great round. And Alpha just spams him through the smoke. That's how the game's been going. Everything in favor for Fnatic.
So what would happen if G2 just went C? Well, Fnatic would probably respect the site more and keep someone here, spreading their defense thin and weakening it. But doing it 12 rounds in, yeah, it's not going to do you any favors. And now, Icy has won off his Dimensional Drift, and Trent has his Hunter's Fury. If G2 were to go C, this would be the round to do it. But Cypher's here? Fnatic understand that these are the perfect conditions to hit this site, so they're prepared to anchor site with 3 and then flank with 2. Both teams open the last round of the half by trading smokes, one for top C, one for mid window to emulate the same aggression G2 have seen all game. But no one's there. The defense are marching up lobby while Icy grabs his last ult point. But Boaster is one step ahead. He's noticed this Dimensional Drift come online and has popped his From the Shadows to get to C early. In the meantime, Leaf's alarm bot has been triggered, spurring G2 to finally run it up C. Icy hops into his ult, heads up garage, and then into sight, helping Trent aim his laser.
They're going to try to accelerate, as you were mentioning, towards C, but you're right, it's probably too little too late, and Leaf has been left with so much to do. Meanwhile, Icy trying to get back sight off of the flashes. Leaf dealt with. The site still up for grabs.
Come back, with you. One more pot.
Pot.
Garage. Broken.
Boaster must have heard the boogeyman or something in spawn, but Valen and Trent lined up their utility with your result. Boaster hit back, but this 200 pump and snakebite was enough to finally, after 11 rounds, take C. But Fnatic are already here. Dirk is in his Dimensional Drift, while his teammates pinch from both sides. But with Jonah P's Viper Spit active, Fnatic are now put on a timer to dodge the 9-3 curse.
They take long on you guys.
Flat. You're flat.
And one spawn.
Flat and spawn.
You have a minute.
Shot TPA?
Wait, in the hole.
Backside was.
Here, I'm here.
The peak left.
Here,
okay?
can we walk garage?
Dart
B, bro?
Dart
Just get out.
Trent. Dart
I can double swing.
Nice,
boys.
Let's go.
Under the right circumstances, leaving one site butt naked is a good idea. You want more proof? Well, EG did it first.